Are you cruising through life not always knowing what direction you are headed? Let Live on Purpose with Dr. Paul Jenkins be your guide. Live on Purpose will give you insights into your life and show you how you can become the driver and captain of it. No more aimless wandering. By learning the principles that govern happiness and wealth, you will be able to make personal progress that you have only dreamed possible. And now, here's your host, the shrink who expands your life, Dr. Paul.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Live on Purpose Radio. This is Dr. Paul, the shrink who expands your life, bringing you another episode of Live on Purpose Radio. We've got something special going on here today in the studio. As always, I have a phenomenal guest who is inspiring and who's done some wonderful things in his life, and I'll introduce him in just a minute. We're going to have a little briefer episode today of Live on Purpose Radio because we're doing it on the fly. And I was just visiting a few minutes ago with my friend David. Say hello, David.
Hi.
Right up there in the microphone. How old are you, David?
I'm 10 years old.
You're 10. Have you been on the radio before?
Never.
You never have. This is the first time.
Yep.
You know what, David? You and I have had some talks before, haven't we?
Yep.
And you were sharing with me a few minutes ago that you would love to be on Live on Purpose Radio. So here we are.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's pretty cool knowing I'm on a radio.
Huh? You liking that?
Yeah.
Now, there's a reason why we're having this conversation today. Because you have learned some things. And folks, when I bring a guest on my show, it's usually because I want to make sure that we can share something that will help people to live on purpose. And David, something that I've noticed is that a lot of people, sometimes kids, sometimes older people, kind of get stuck because of fear. Now, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know a lot about it.
Yeah? Tell me a little bit about that.
I used to have really bad fears of someone breaking into my house and killing me or something.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what was that like for you?
It was really scary.
It was. And did you notice how you didn't really feel good about yourself, and it was just kind of tough, and you'd run into trouble sometimes with your dad and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, what did you do?
Well, I decided I should face my fears.
What? Whoa, hang on. You just popped that off like it was easy. Is this an easy thing to do?
No.
It's not, is it? You know what? When people get stuck in fear, they have two choices. What are those two choices?
To get stuck in fear or to get out.
Yes. And they get to either face it or avoid it, right?
Right.
And if they avoid it, they stay
Happy.
Stuck.
Oh. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I tricked you, huh?
Yeah.
No, you're with me here.
Yeah.
When they avoid the thing that they're afraid of and they stay afraid of it and they stay stuck, right? When they face it, it's really hard, but then they get to be free from that fear, right?
Yeah.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about how you did it? Because you might help somebody else with that.
Well, I discovered that a lot of stuff I was scared of isn't real. Like, for example, ghosts and zombies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What if the stuff that I'm afraid of really is real?
It depends on what you're afraid of.
But you're saying a lot of the stuff we're afraid of isn't even real.
Exactly.
Right? Oh. So how did that help you when you started learning that?
Helped me a lot.
Yeah? So you realized that some of it wasn't even real, but it still seemed a little scary. So what did you do?
Well, I kind of went, what are the chances of this happening?
Uh-huh.
I mean, one day I just said, what are the chances of this happening? I mean, there's maybe a 2% chance out of 100 that this is going to happen.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, well, obviously, since there's such a low chance of it happening, I should just quit being scared of it.
So just thinking about how likely it is.
Yeah.
And you thought, hey, there's not really much of a chance of this happening after all, so...
So, I said, it's not going to happen.
So it's not going to happen. So that helped you to overcome some of your fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then how's it been since then?
It's been really good. My life's been going a lot better.
Wow. That is so cool. And thank you so much for sharing that. Because you know what? There's a lot of people who might be listening to us right now, or a little later on. I explained to you that we record this and then they listen to it later on. But all you guys who are listening, you're listening to it now, right? Well,
later.
Yeah, later, which is now for, well, okay. We won't get lost on that.
Yeah.
But the people that are listening to this, David, some of them have some fears. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I can actually kind of imagine that.
You can, because you've been there, haven't you? I mean, you know what it feels like to be afraid of things.
Yeah.
So you were afraid, let me clarify, you were afraid for a while that maybe somebody would break into your house or they'd steal stuff or hurt you or try to take you away or something, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that's one of the most common fears that kids have?
Actually, I didn't.
Some of them are afraid of going to school. Some of them are afraid of getting sick. Or it could be anything. What do you think? What do you think they should do?
I think people that are afraid of going to school, I don't know why you'd be afraid of going to school. Because you can't get hurt at school. There's nothing bad at school. They're just trying to help you with your life.
Oh. Yeah, but people who are afraid of school, they really have reasons for being afraid, true?
Yeah, it's probably because they get bad grades or something.
Mm-hmm. And you remember how you used to be afraid and you thought it was because things might happen, and then you decided, hey, probably it's not going to happen, so I might as well just face it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you started to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And do you still feel afraid?
No.
No! Wow, that's amazing. So if somebody who's afraid of school or afraid of, I don't know, going places or whatever, if they were to just realize, hey, the bad things probably aren't going to happen, and they just face their fears, what do you think is going to happen to them?
Their life's going to be a lot better.
Awesome. So they get to feel more free, huh?
Yeah.
And that would really be great for them in their life. Cool. Well, that's awesome. Anything else you want to say about that, David?
Just fears, really, they can't get you. That's all I want to say. Just don't let fears control you.
Just don't let them get a hold of you. Well, that's awesome. Hey, we're going to take a little break, okay? And then we're going to come back and we're going to finish up this little chat we're having.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You know, in today's world, people have become much more conscious of their health and wellness. Finding new and effective ways to combat the effects of disease, aging, and poor nutrition is more important than it ever has been as we look to improve our own life and the lives of those we love. Hi, I'm Micah Kagi, and a few short years ago I discovered a company called Kyani. Kyani is a rapidly growing nutritional supplement company that is marketing in over 20 countries. Kyani's products combine the nutritional benefits of well-known superfoods with Nobel Prize-winning research and breakthrough science. Not only does Kyani help to improve health and wellness of families, but through the amazing business opportunity that it offers, people like me have been able to create financial freedom. Kyani has the power to change your life, regardless of where you are or what your needs may be. Whether you are new to network marketing or a seasoned veteran, you will find that Kyani has what you've been looking for. A well-financed, growing company with proven management to generate immediate income and the potential to allow normal people like you and I to succeed if we are willing to put forth the time and effort.
Kyani is a proud sponsor of Live on Purpose Radio. To learn more or to join our exciting team, please visit the website drpaul.kyani.net. That's drpaul.kyani.net.
Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. John Maxwell.
you dream big, as big as the ocean blue. 'Cause when you dream it might come true.
Hey, David,
Yeah,
you want to sing?
not really.
You were singing while the bumper music started. I should have just turned on your microphone. Dream big. Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I do.
You're the kind of guy who dreams big, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah. You're going to do some pretty fantastic things in your life. Because something I've noticed about you is that you are smart. You do a lot of good thinking. And, like we were talking about earlier, you've learned to get past your fears, haven't you?
Yeah,
Sweet. And that has made your life better?
it really has.
I wonder if there's anything else that you've learned lately that maybe helps you have a better life.
Respect.
Respect. Tell me about that.
Well, respect is where you're just nice to someone. You do good things to property and stuff. Like,
So it's not just about respecting people, it's about respecting property too?
yeah, and wildlife and nature and stuff.
Uh-huh. And what about like parents, teachers? What do
Yeah.
you know about that?
Respecting your parents is definitely something big that'll get you somewhere far in life. And respecting teachers or people, even any person, will get you really far in life.
Wow. Okay, David, do you mind if I ask you a little bit of a kind of a personal question?
No.
Is that okay? All right. I know you're doing great. I mean, you're doing fantastic. I mean, you're doing some good stuff. Okay? And I know that there have been some times in your life when you got a little stuck or when you had some problems or when things didn't go quite as you wanted them to.
Yeah.
Right? Now, have you had any experiences in your life where you learned that not respecting causes problems? Can you think of any examples of that? And you don't have to share a personal example, but can you think of ways that not showing respect, not practicing respect causes problems?
Yeah, not showing respect can cause people to be really mean.
Cause them to be mean? What else?
It can cause them to... It can cause them to be sad.
Yeah. It kind of makes it so that people don't get along so well, huh? There's like
Yeah.
some conflict between them. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
You know what? Sometimes this happens between parents and kids. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, I have.
What do you think? What if there's some kids out there listening, or maybe some parents, because we have a lot of parents that listen to our show too. What if there's some parents or kids out there that are worried about the respect problem? Like maybe the kids aren't being very respectful toward their parents. Do you have any advice? Do you have any idea about what they should do, either the parents or the kids?
The parents should, to help respect their kids, for one thing, is don't throw them with, like don't throw, like, chores at them, like, 24 hours,
Oh,
7
yeah?
days a week, 24/7. I've seen that happen to kids, and
Where the parents just throwing chores at them?
just throwing chores and making them do all this stuff, and that's one thing for parents, and one thing for kids is be nice for your parents if something goes that you don't want it, how you don't want it to go. Just kind of deal with it.
So even if it's something you didn't want, you
Yeah.
kind of roll with it and you just go with it. What about chores? Do you think kids should do chores?
Yeah, kids should do chores.
So you're not saying that they shouldn't do chores. You're just saying that the parents shouldn't just like throw it at them all the time.
I mean, like, tell them, like,
Right.
go and do the laundry, clean the bathroom, clean your bedroom. I mean,
Like all you are is their slave or something.
yeah.
Yeah. But you're saying that most kids are going to be willing to do the chores if the parents just show some respect to them too.
Yeah.
How can kids show respect to parents?
Be nice. Definitely. Do what they tell them to do.
You know how though sometimes parents ask you to do something that you don't want to do?
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're not throwing chores at you like 24/7, sometimes the parents are going to come up with something and you think, oh, I don't feel like doing that. That doesn't sound like much fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like going to a museum of some sort that's really boring.
Like going to a boring museum? Or what about some of those chores? Because let's face it, you don't always want to clean your room, right?
Or you don't always want to pick up the dog's poop in the backyard.
Or the dog poop. That's right. I know a story about that one. Hey, I shared that story with you, remember?
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember it? The Dog Poop Initiative.
Yep.
Yeah, we've talked about that a number of times on this show. In fact, the guy who wrote that book, he's been on this show. He was sitting right where you're sitting, and he was talking to me on Live on Purpose Radio.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Kirk Weisler, good friend of mine.
Well,
Dog Poop Initiative, everybody. If you haven't read it, put it on your must-read list. That's required reading for Live on Purpose Radio. Don't you think so, David?
oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, we got just a little bit of time left. Like 2 minutes or so.
Okay.
I'm wondering if there's anything else that you could tell us. Just share your wisdom with us, David. You know stuff. Share it. What else is on your mind that you really want people to know?
Well, when something you don't want to do happens, and don't stop people from not being able to do it. I mean, if you don't want to go somewhere, and you're going to put up a fight, and so people can't do it.
Oh.
It's just go with the flow or stay home. Or do something else.
Now, you mentioned this earlier, too, kind of go with the flow. Don't create a big old problem where there doesn't have to be one, right?
Right.
Because sometimes even if it's not something you want to do, it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
And you can get through it okay,
Yeah.
right? But you have to have a good attitude about it. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Tell me what you've learned about attitude. What's that all about?
Attitude. Sometimes you'll walk up to someone and you'll have a bad attitude. And I've had people say, your attitude's so bad. Or my sister says, who poisoned your coffee? When someone has a bad attitude.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's just saying, hello, you have a bad attitude, but just don't be mean to me about it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a couple of different things. Maybe we should just do a little review before we run out of time, do you think?
Sure.
So what have we talked about today?
We've talked about fears.
Fears.
Respect. And attitude.
Attitude. Awesome. You know what? I think in just this episode of Live on Purpose Radio is a little shorter than some of them. Okay?
Yeah.
About 20 minutes or so, right? And you and I have been talking for just a few minutes about stuff that you've taken 10 years to learn.
Yep.
And so we just wrapped it up in a few minutes, and there's 3 important principles. What if all of us could learn to face our fears? What would happen, David?
We'd live a lot better life. And
Would that be awesome or what?
yeah, it really would be awesome.
People would be accomplishing all kinds of crazy things, huh?
Yeah.
So you said fears, and then the next one was?
Respect.
Respect, yes. And if we could all learn respect, and you talked about a couple of different kinds of respect.
Yeah.
Respect for?
Property.
People.
Parents.
Parents are people, dude.
Okay.
And then attitude.
Yep.
If you have a good attitude,
You'll live a nice life.
you'll live a nice life, and you can get through anything. So, David, we are on the very tail end of this program. You get the last word. What do you want to leave people with at Live on Purpose Radio?
Face your fears and your life will be a lot better. Goodbye.